ayayayam. Achetyo ayam ataya ayam. Alekyo asosya evacha. Alekyo shosha evacha. Nitya sarvagata shanur. Nitya sarvagata stanur. Achalo ayam sanatana. Achalo ayam sanatana. Arjun, he is uncleavable. He cannot be burnt. He can be neither wetted nor dried. He is eternal, all-pervading, unchanging, and immovable. He is the same forever. Shri Krishna repeats the features of the soul that are described in the last verse here. This reminded Guruji of a beautiful mantra in the Upanishads. A rishi was sitting in a jungle underneath a tree, surrounded by his pupils. One of these students asked the question, Guruji, what is all this Brahman about? What is Brahman? The Guruji came out with the words, Isha Vasyam, meaning the place. This world is a place which the Supreme Soul is created to live, which is the earth, and the person who is prevalent everywhere, who is all-pervading, is Brahman. After saying these two words, Isha Vasyam, Guruji said Idam, meaning this is what it is. So as soon as the Guruji said that, he pointed to one place, saying Idam. The Guruji realized that a limit came into it, because if Isha Vasyam is everywhere, and it says Idam in one place, then it can be in that, but not in anything else. So Guruji pointed to things in one direction, and then he said Idam to another direction. So if he did that, then it will say that if it's there, then it's not there. So as soon as the Guruji said Idam, he twisted his finger like that, Sarvam, meaning Idam Sarvam, it's prevalent everywhere. The Supreme Soul is everywhere. The word, if you look in the fourth line, the word Sanatan is used. Sanatan is that whose beginning nobody knows about it, and that is God. Who's a Hindu here? Who's Hindu here? And who's listened to my talk before about Hindu? What does Hindu mean? Okay? And after asking that question, who still thinks they're Hindu here? The word Hindu is a Persian word. Who doesn't know about this? Do you know about this?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Did you come to the Diwali talk?
No.
Okay. The word Persians, they have no letter for S, so they use H instead. They had an ancient civilization living by the river Sindh, in river Indus. It's Indus Valley civilization. It's called the river Sindh. And what happened? They had no letter for S, so they call it Hindu. Like the word Asur means demon in Sanskrit. Persians call it Ahur. So the word Hindu came. So this word Hindu doesn't mean anything. Unfortunately now, because of labels, we have to accept it. But the dharma we have is called Sanatan Dharma, that without beginning and that which has no end. If something has no beginning, it can never have any end. No one's been able to trace, scientists haven't been able to trace when the Rig Veda is dated. Gita, we know is dated 5,000 years ago. Ramayana is dated. No one knows when the Rig Veda is dated. So Sanatan is that whose beginning nobody knows about, and that's what God is. When was God born? We're not able to tell when God was born. That's why God is Sanatan. The soul is also like this. If we look at it from a worldly perspective, we have three ages. The first is the age of the body, and that's different in everyone. One person is 25, one's 26, one's 27, one's 40. That's the physical age of the body. The second is the mental age. When American soldiers were sent to the war front during World War II, they first did a survey of them. Just like when they came back, they did a survey of them using a questionnaire. It was a psychological survey, and the results were completely shocking. It was really surprising. The results said that the age of a person may keep growing, and all the soldiers' ages were different. The physical ages were different, but all of the mental ages were exactly the same. They're all 14 years old in terms of the mental ages. They all stopped growing at the age of 14. The world found this out for the first time, was completely shocked. But all the experiences we have up until the age of 14 have the permutations, have the combinations working together throughout our whole lives. We take them up to the age of 14 and they stay with us. Very few people's IQ what the Americans found out. In Gujarati, always had the saying called Soru San, which gives people 2 years more. Mental age goes up to 16. Probably since they had that saying, the mental age of people went down by 2. But that's what it was. All the mental ages are the same, and there's very few different, some exceptions like Einstein and so on. And they said about Einstein, he only used about 8% of his brain. And this whole process of meditation is activating, using the whole point of Dharma is that every single person should reach his upper limits, his peak potential, which he becomes unstoppable. That's the whole point process of this meditation of the Omkar I taught you. Okay, and Guruji taught me. So the third, that's the first age, is the physical age. Second age is the mental age. Third is the age of the soul. And the ages of all our souls are the same. There's no variation in the age because the soul is Sanatan. So you can only measure the age of something when it has a beginning to it. How can we measure something if we don't even know when it came into being? And that's what Sanatan is. And that's what it said, to recognize and attain the soul. Sanatan. Okay.